that there is tension between Eric Holder and President Obama, which is basically what he's saying over this issue, or is John Kerry just providing some cover in that regard?
Oh, he's providing cover. Look, Eric Holder works for Barack Obama. If Barack Obama didn't want this to go forward, it wouldn't be going forward. And the idea that this is a preliminary investigation and is not political is absurd. There was an investigation already of this by career Justice Department officials, career prosecutors from the Eastern District of Virginia during the Bush administration. And that decision is now being overruled by political appointees, many of whom come from law firms that represent terrorists. And they are overruling the decisions of career prosecutors who looked at this. Even the IG in the State Department and the CIA says there's nothing to prosecute here. If the Bush administration had done this to its predecessor, there would be outrage. But Eric Holder is doing this, and he's a paragon of justice and independence. It's absurd, and they're doing immense damage to the intelligence community.
There's another section of this interview that I found very interesting, and it had to do with the creation of this other sort of interrogation committee oversight group that would report directly to the White House. And I want to get Michael Schor's thoughts on this, but let's first listen to what the former vice president had to say about about such a committee. Let's listen.
I think that if they were faced with the kind of situation we were faced with in the aftermath of 9/11, suddenly capturing people that may have knowledge about imminent attacks, and they're going to have meetings and decide who gets to ask what question and who's going to Mirandize the witness. I think it's silly. It makes no sense. It's not doesn't appear to be a serious move in terms of being able to deal with the nation's security.
So, Michael Schor, your thoughts on those two things? You know, this separate interrogation group that is supposedly going to be convened, and also, you know, whether or not it is, as Cheney said in another part of the interview, sort of a slap in the face to the CIA to take this off of their purview.
Well, in the first place, you know, you wonder, the Democrats are always screaming about oversight, and of course, if something is in the White House, it gets overseen by no one except the president. So this is a great accretion of power to the White House. And I have to say that, you know, the CIA is pretty much an apolitical organization. You follow the instructions of the president. But on the issue of terrorism, especially on the issue of Islamic terrorism, the agency has grown pretty used to Democratic administrations who are both anti-agency and, in many senses, pro-terrorist. Mr. Clinton could have ended this problem in 1997, 1998. He chose not to. Right. He, of course, never listened to Mr. Woolsey, his DCI. And Mr. Holder and Mr. Obama come from the Democratic generation that hate the agency. So the idea that this has anything to do with anything but leftist political thought within the Democratic Party is just an absurdity.
That's a pretty scary assessment. So you think this makes us less safe, all of this?
Oh, of course it makes us less safe. It's aid and comfort to the enemy. You know, no matter how the investigation works out, Al-Qaeda and its allies are now aware that the President of the United States is trying to neuter the intelligence service in the world that has done the most damage to Al-Qaeda. I don't know if it's permissible to do the happy dance in Islam, but once they heard Holder's announcement, those boys in the caves were doing the happy dance.
Boy, Michael Schor, thank you very much. I wish we had more time, gentlemen. Good to have you with us. Doug Schoen, as always. Mark Thiessen, thank you.